Are you structured or creative? The truth is, you need to be both. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate and lead and inspire. And I'm kind of inspired by a quote that I saw, and let me kind of read it to you. It's by that quotable person, the most quotable person of all times, Anonymous, and it goes something like this. Isn't that the way they do songs? And it goes something like this. Someone once told me the definition of hell. On your last day on earth, the person that you could have become will meet the person that you became. Unquote. Wow. So, do you want to become the person that you can become? It's going to take a couple of things. All right? You need to be structurally creative. There's an oxymoron for you. All right? Before we look at how structure and creativity both can work together, let's take a look at how the two kind of exist on their own. What's the deal with creativity? Well, the pros of creativity are it makes you more innovative, right? When you're creative, you're more innovative. You're a creator. That's what I try and do with this channel, right? You know, try to be innovative with the way that we express principles and philosophies and so on and so forth, and be creative in the way that we do that. As a matter of fact, YouTube calls the people that are in front of the camera creators, all right? And the other thing is you want to establish a flow. So creativity, innovation, creation, a flow. Those are the pros. The cons is it's inconsistent, it's difficult to understand the how in some cases, and it's not something that you could put your hands on. It's intangible. Creativity can be taught. That's one thing you need to know. And another thing you need to know is creativity comes in bursts. It's not something, it's not like going for a workout every morning that if you run 10 miles, you know you're going to lose X amount of weight. Creativity is something that you can put yourself in position to be receptive, but you can't guarantee results. So what you want to do is just flip the coin as many times as you possibly can. Sometimes it comes up tails, but sometimes it comes up heads. You know, when I'm in the flow, and I'm sure you feel the same thing, you feel like nothing in the world can stop you. But you can have positive flow and you can have negative flow. Eli, you know this from playing basketball. You know, sometimes you get the ball, you know, and you get it in rhythm, and boom, it's magic. The ball's going in the hoop, it's going in the hole, and you get in that rhythm, and you say that guy's hot, or what they like to say, especially with the pros, is he's in the zone. He's in the zone. He's in a good rhythm. That basketball is a game of rhythm, all right? So you want to get yourself in that good rhythm, not just in basketball, but in life. But also there can be negative flow. All right, I mean, there was, you know, some negative flow with my first wife. You know, there were some days when everything I said and did were wrong and irritated her. And then there were some nights where everything I said and did irritated her. That's why she was, I guess, the first wife. All right, but the point is you can get into a positive flow and you can get into a negative flow, and there's a structure that can actually help you bring you back to the state of flow, you know, the ideal state, and that makes the creative process a little bit less difficult. All right, as an example, one of the things as a coach that we always did is we'd have a contest. I'd divide the team up in two, one at one basket, one at the other basket, and we'd go through rhythm shooting, where you would, you know, we'd pick a spot on the floor, both teams would be in, make it a competition, right? Loser had to run sprints, and you get the ball, let's say at the foul line, at the middle of the foul line, or what we call the end of the foul line, what we call the shooting areas. All right, you go to the left shooting area. All right, ready, go. First one to 10 wins. After that, the losers have to run sprints. So when I say go, then the first guy take the ball, take a shot, and then run and get the rebound, and then pass it to somebody, and that person's standing there ready. And if the ball was thrown right here, then they were in rhythm. If the ball's thrown up here, then they got to bring it down. They're out of rhythm. So you want to get yourself into a rhythm as a shooter. You want to get yourself into a rhythm as in life. But there are exercises that you can do, just as in basketball, that get you into that rhythm. Let me give you a different example. Seriously, on the personal side of the balance sheet. When I was younger, of course, I spent a lot of time on the business side of the balance sheet. And you have to pay attention to the personal side, the spousal side of the balance sheet. So the wife understood, but still you need to pay that special attention to that special person. So how do you do that? You structure a date night. No matter what happens at work, this particular night is our night. We're going out on a date. We're going to go to the movies, we're going to go dancing, we're going to go for dinner, we're going to do all three, with different things that you would set up as a structure. All right, so let's look a little bit at the pros and cons of structure. First of all, structure is consistent. It's something that you do on a regular basis. Another word for that is discipline. You have the discipline to do things on a regular basis. It's easy to understand, and it's tangible. It's something you can put your hands on. Now, the cons of structure are that there's very, very little spontaneity involved. Also that it can be repetitive, and also that it can be boring. When teaching the proper footwork to a group of teenage kids, freshmen, sophomores, seniors even, in high school, and they're making them do the footwork over and over and over and over again to create that muscle memory, it's not the most exciting thing that they can think of in their life. They much rather be shooting, they much rather be blocking a shot, they much rather be going out with a girl. I mean, it can be boring. But you've got to remember that structure, to be successful, is something that you have to do on a repetitive basis to make it muscle memory, so that it's something that you're doing without thinking, subconsciously. All right? Now, I want to point out that structure should not be seen as something that suppresses creativity, but it's rather a practice that motivates you to exercise the creative process. I mean, when you wake up in the morning, don't you have structure? I mean, when I wake up, I know that 15 minutes are going to be dedicated to quiet thinking time. 30 minutes are going to be dedicated to reading something. 20 minutes for hygiene. And I even break that 20 minutes down. 19 and a half minutes to shave, wash face, brush teeth. 25 seconds to polish my scalp, and 5 seconds to comb my hair. And sometimes that's even a bit too much. But I digress. The structure of this morning routine might be boring, but the act of each task that you have to perform potentially gives you creativity on some level. Does that make sense? Right? The point of structure is to give yourself the permission to make time for something that you want to accomplish, something you want to do. Structure is what creates the opportunity, and creativity is what makes the opportunity unfold. We are a channel of blueprints, so I better give you the structure of how to do this, and it's very, very simple. And I've gone over this before, but it bears repeating. Repetition means retention. First, you have a dominant thought, a burning desire, an objective that is the one and only objective. That's in your mind. You take that, and right before you go to sleep, and I recommend, once again, that you start thinking about this while you're performing your nighttime structural activity, brushing your teeth. While you're brushing your teeth, start thinking about that particular objective that you want to pursue. Why? because when you piggyback habits together, it makes them easier to accomplish. So piggyback the brushing the teeth habit with thinking about the objective you want to achieve. And then after you finish your personal hygiene and you go to sleep and you're about to cross the border from consciousness to sleep, once again, continue that thought, but make sure that you're only thinking about the end result and not the different ways to get there. Why do I say that? Because if you think about the different ways to get there, if you'd already gotten there, you wouldn't have to be thinking about it. It's a done deal. So obviously, you're having an issue, a challenge, a problem, and you want to solve this particular problem. So if you plant the seed with the things that you've already done and were not successful, well, that's the seed that the infinite mind receives and is unable to, or makes it much more difficult for the infinite partner to give you solutions, mind flashes, create circumstances that you couldn't plan or predict. It makes that more difficult for the infinite partner to help. So leave that open, leave the runway open for the new plane to come in and land from the infinite partner. And then make sure that you're able to capture all of the different mind flashes, ideas, thoughts, because they come in bits and pieces. They don't, most of the time, they don't come whole. So you have to take the pieces like a puzzle and put them together. But you also must remember that, once again, this is not like working out, running 10 miles, and you're going to lose X amount of weight. You're not always going to get those results. So you have to do this every single night. You have to have that discipline, that structure to put yourself in position to allow the creative juices to flow from you to the infinite partner, and from the infinite partner back down to you. You need that structure. Once again, sometimes the coin will come up tails, where you wake up and there's nothing there. And sometimes it comes up heads and you're in a flow state, and boy, when that happens, you want to get your pen or your tape recorder or text yourself or whatever to make sure that you capture those important thoughts. So, once again, key point here is oxymoron. Structural creativity requires relaxed focus, right? Where you're thinking about your objective that you want to achieve. You're in a relaxed state. That's when you send and you send. You're in an intense state. In order to receive, you have to be in a relaxed focus. You have to be in receiving mode. You can send somebody a telegram, as an example, or you can send somebody, let's be more modern, you can send somebody an Instagram, but if they're not on, they're not going to receive the message. For you to be on, you have to send the message with intensity. For you to receive the message, you have to have a relaxed focus, where you're relaxed and you're ready to receive. And that's what that quiet thinking time is all about. That's when you're taking a shower and ideas come to you. That's when you're driving down the road and all of a sudden you get an epiphany. Or you're driving down the road and you see a billboard and that gives you an idea. Relaxed focus. Relaxed focus. And when you combine structure and creativity together correctly, that arms you with a tool that helps you reach individual success. There's another oxymoron, because nobody reaches the promised land alone. There's always a partner, a spouse, a team that helps you to put the ball in the basket. And clearly, that's another subject for another time. And because we never end a meeting on a philosophical note, let's get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.